Thanks for listening to the Lunch and Learn with Dr. Barry, here to help educate, motivate, and put you on the right path to take control of your health through weekly discussions on topics in the medical field, public health arena, and in your community. And now your host, Dr. Barry.
And welcome to another amazing episode of the Lunch and Learn with Dr. Barry. I'm your host, Dr. Barry Pierre, your favorite board-certified internist, founder of drbarrypierre.com, as well as the CEO of Pierre Medical Consulting, helping you empower yourself for better health with the #1 podcast for patient advocacy, education, and promotion. Today, we bring you episode 120, and it is a solo episode with yours truly. And we are moving along with our theme-related episodes. And for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about nutrition. Because for majority of my listeners, and majority of just patients out there in general, it is a huge topic. It is a huge area of concern, especially when we talk about controlling our health and getting our health together. And we're going to start off with a solo episode because I want to kind of talk about some of the things that I've been doing pretty recently, right? Depending on when you're listening to this episode, as far as nutritional changes and lifestyle changes, right? Because again, it is not a diet. We're not talking about any diet related strategies. We are talking about nutritional and life-based changes that need to occur to make sure that we have a very fulfilling and a sustainable approach to our healthcare. So we're going to talk about my transition to the keto lifestyle, which again, if you're listening to this in the month of August, all right, it just happened, pretty recently. And it was something that I was always thinking about, something that I was always contemplating, but it was with the issue of me going into surgery and not being able to have any ability to exercise. It was going to be even more important that I stress my nutritional habit, which was bad, of course, which is something I wanted to make sure I address before I can get back to the gym. So again, listen for another amazing episode. Like I said, we're going to have a great slew of episodes coming up in the next few weeks. Hope you guys are there. Again, appreciate all the new listeners who have been recently following and subscribing to the show and sharing and, letting friends know and your parents know and your relatives know that being healthy is cool. And again, sticking with me. Again, remember, empower yourself for better health. That is the motto here on the Lunch and Learn with Dr. Barry. And you have a great and blessed day. And let's get ready for another amazing episode. One of the sponsors for the Lunch and Learn Community Podcast is the Lunch and Learn Community Store, where you can find t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, stickers, and wristbands with the motto, empower yourself for better health. Remember, 50% of all proceeds will go to the 5-Star Scholarship Foundation, where we give out college scholarships to deserving high school seniors across the country. Thus far, we have given out over 20 deserving scholarships to students across the country. So again, 50% of the proceeds will be blessed to the 5-Star Scholarship Foundation. And today you can get the coupon code LUNCH20, and you get 20% off your purchase, and you support these high school students across the country. Again, the Lunch and Learn Community Store is at shop.drbarrypierre.com, and the coupon code is LUNCH20. What's going on, everybody? Dr. Barry here. So today we are having an episode that focuses on nutrition, and I think for most people, especially those who follow along with the podcast, you like to hear a lot of the personal reflections. Every time we talk about a story, it's really important to get the personal standpoint from it, right? So today we're talking about my journey with nutrition, and we're going to be talking about the ketogenic lifestyle, right? Which is, again, I don't like to call it diet, right? Because diets aren't long lasting, and they usually don't give us the result we want for a long period of time. So, and in here, we always try to focus on very evidence-based medicine related to a lot of the topics we do. And ketogenic diet definitely happens to fall under one of them. So just a quick little recap of everything that's been going on thus far. As a person who has been working on losing weight, right? That was my goal in the beginning of 2019. It's still my goal towards the end of 2019, right? Definitely thankful to still be kind of on that trek. If you caught Dr. Brad's episode where we talked about the fact that 80% of people by this time have kind of fallen off on their New Year's resolution. That has not been the case with me, so I'm definitely glad about that. But what occurred was the aspect of, and I've talked about this before, how important diet and exercise is to losing weight. But then what happened a few weeks ago. For those who may know or may not know, again, if you don't know, you're going to know now. I recently had an injury where I actually had to have surgery and actually had to be non-weight bearing for 4 weeks, which essentially means that I'm not going to be able to exercise and do that level of physical activity for at least 4 to 6, really actually longer, because even once I'm actually becoming weight bearing, because I broke my fibula, I can't even wear sneakers for another 2 more weeks after that, right? So at least 6 to 8 weeks before I can even put sneakers back on, before I can get back to kind of working out, right? So here was this onus where we know the equation, especially when we talk about losing weight, is diet and exercise. But now I've taken that component pretty much out of the equation, right? So now all I can do is really focus on my diet to help me lose weight. And I'll be honest, right? And again, this happens for a lot of people who do the diet and exercise combo. For a lot of us who do it and kind of do it frequently enough, you kind of cheat on the diet side, even though I know someone's going to hit me with the, diets are made in the kitchen. Yes, I know that. But like if I exercise enough, right? Like I don't have to worry about eating really bad that 1 day or 2 days. And that was occurring throughout this process, right? Where like there are some days where, I wasn't as efficient as I needed to be on my diet, right? Because again, that just happens to everybody. The goal is when you have these trips and these obstacles and these bumps in the road that you know how to get past it, right? So I was very fortunate enough to be able to kind of work out to kind of balance those issues and, allowing, the weight to still be decreasing. But now I've taken that aspect out, right? I can't work out and all I can do is focus on my diet. And, there's a wide range of different types of diet related options, right? Again, like I say diet, but really it's the lifestyle changes that need to occur and understanding, where I was at and what needed to be changed. I am Haitian. So growing up, most of my meals were rice and something, right? And it was like, and when I look back, the amount of carb load that was associated with my diet was so crazy high. Like it was a wonder that, that I, lost any weight, right? Like, cause carbs was such an important staple of my diet. So when I was looking to see, like, okay, what type of lifestyle change can I make that I think would have the biggest impact on me, right? This is when the ketogenic diet kind of shot up to the top, right? Because the ketogenic diet, for those who may not know, is a low carb, high fat, high protein diet and has lots of different benefits, right? And we're going to talk about some of the benefits at hand. But it was one of those things where I said, you know what? If I know my bad issue, right, is the carbs, right? Like, why not go to a lifestyle that kind of reduces that, right? And the ketogenic diet pretty much did what it needed to do, right? Like it said, like, hey, I want you to decrease your carbs and I want you to just have more proteins and more fats, which again was pretty obvious in nature here, right? And for the ketogenic diet, again, for those who may not know, those may remember of the Atkins diet, right? That famous diet that, people were essentially having almost zero level of carbs and just like eating bacon and grease and all that. That's not the ketogenic diet, right? The ketogenic diet does take into account that yes, you're going to increase your fats. Yes, you're going to increase your proteins and have lower availability of carbs, but you're not going to be having like those drastic amounts of fats, right? Because again, there's all types of fats, there's all types of proteins, right? There's good ones and there's bad ones, right? And what happened for a lot of people, especially when the Atkins diet was very popular, was everyone was eating really the bad related types of fat, right? They weren't really eating any of the good related oils and fats that needed to be added to their diet, right? So that's why we had so many problems back then, right? So I think that's why the keto lifestyle has kind of took, a center stage at this time because, it's been more perfected. A lot of the related ill effects that you used to occur with that type of diet, with the Atkins diet, does not necessarily happen, especially if you follow a good regimen. So I want to kind of take you what happened, right? So again, here I am. I can't have any of my typical foods I normally eat, which essentially was rice and something, right? That's essentially gone. And there was a lot of change over, right? Because again, I had surgery. I couldn't move anywhere, couldn't do exercise. So I had to decide like, hey, when am I going to start this diet? Like, hey, I might as well start it like right now. Right. So once I made the change, it was pretty drastic, especially in the household, because most of our meals consisted of that carbs. And I'll be honest, carbs. I was not a big vegetable eater. Wasn't, even though fruits are kind of, sketchy, especially because I don't know if a lot of us realize how high carb some of our fruits are, but fruits was kind of sketchy as well. So, I had to kind of decrease some of my fruit intake and really increase my protein and my vegetables, right? Which was something that I needed to do anyways, but just never had. And again, I think I was going off some of the benefits of, the fact that I worked out a lot more than I needed to be. And there's different types of ketogenic diets, right? There's your standard diet, which again, from a percentage standpoint, again, I don't like, especially for my listeners who may be thinking about starting on nutritional support, right? Obviously, make sure you follow up with someone, make sure you have a professional help to kind of get you over the hump, right? So we're just going to talk about percentages, right? When it talks about percentages, a lot of people have about, 20 to 30% of their food are proteins. Again, a good 65% of their food are fats, and then, less than, like 10% is carb related. That's just in the general sense of things, right? And again, for most people who don't understand like why keto works, right? Our body typically breaks down we have three types of nutritional support, right? Proteins, fat, and carbs. Most of us have a pretty high carb diet, right? Most of us take in enough carbs, so that's what our body tends to use, right? So our body needs this nutrient, which is carbohydrates, to, energy to make the body work, make the brain work. But if you're in a state, right, where you're taking in a lot of carbs and you're taking a lot of fat, your body does not have to break down any of that fat for energy, right? Because why? Because you're giving it enough carbs. So that's what tends to occur, right? So imagine you're eating enough carbs, you're eating enough fats, and you need to work out, you need to do something. Your body's going to break down those carbs first and leave those fats alone. So what tends to happen over time is that you have this fat storage that continues to occur, continues to build up, because you're giving it enough carbs that your body never actually has to go down to the fat. That's why when you go on these treadmills or these bikes, they usually have different settings, one for a carb and one for fat burning, right? Because it's a different level of energy needed to get to the fat burning. Like it knows it has to get through all of your carb source first before it can even think about getting to the fat, because your body just won't allow it. For people who do the keto diet, because that's essentially reverse, right? Essentially, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to give my body the bare minimum of carbs, to like use energy and burn off. Your body has no choice but to go after the fats much sooner. And for most people, that's where the weight loss occurs, right? Because not only are they usually have a lower intake from a total calorie standpoint. So they have a lower intake from a calorie standpoint. And then because they have a lower carb intake, their body is having to go after the fats that's in their system much quicker, right? This is why you see a lot of the weight loss occur in patients on the ketogenic lifestyle, because like your body says like, oh, I got nothing else to burn but fat. So I'm going to burn fat because I need this energy. And that's where you see a lot of the success and results for people who are on this lifestyle losing weight, right? That's the crux of it, right? Again, here at the Lunch Learn community, we don't want to try to hit you with, the grave details, right? Because that's not really important here. You just kind of want to understand why something is working, why something helps, right? Because that's really the name of the game, right? Like, why does this thing work? And that's really the reason why, right? Because your body is now forced to break down that fat that it was not forced to break down no more, because you're going on the carbs, because you're going on that low carb diet. And there's a lot of different things that have been shown to help, right? For patients who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, right? Because you're having less carbs, that means you're having less of your insulin that's needed to be used, right? So we've seen some benefits in our pre-diabetic and our diabetic patients. There's been studies that shown that there's changes that improve for patients with epilepsy because of the ketogenic state that happens in your lifestyle. Patients, of course, have to be concerned, right? Because remember, we're talking about increased fats, we're talking about increased protein. So you have a history of high cholesterol and stuff like that. You definitely have to be very mindful when you're on this type of a diet to make sure you don't really cause any problems with the other. Because again, like I said, every lifestyle comes with changes that need to occur, right? So again, I'm not telling you to eat nothing but bacon grease 3 times a day. But I am telling you, you have to be very mindful of what you're doing and what you're eating to make sure that's not, an issue, right? So again, I'm just going to list a couple other things that, again, these are evidence-based things that ketogenic lifestyle has been shown to improve. Again, it helps improve risk factors of heart disease, again, because you're losing all of this weight, you're dropping your blood pressure down. There's been signs of that some cancer right, has been shown to have a slower growth rate because we know cancer is a very nutritional base, right? Again, not to say that nutrition causes cancer, but we know that there are some nutritional diets that can help at least slow the process down. Patients with Alzheimer's disease, I talked about the epilepsy, Parkinson's disease as well, brain injuries, acne. So again, a lot of these things that are nutritional and hormonal related, we do see some benefit associated with the ketogenic diet. So here I was, right? So again, kind of back to me, right? Because again, that's the big thing, right? So here I was saying like, yep, I want to make this change, right? It's gonna happen like right now. So what did I have to do, right? So question obviously is, well, Barry, what did you have to like avoid, right? What was your big things? For me, big things were rice. That was always a big thing for me. First and foremost, I was a big fruit eater as well. And that was probably some of the bigger things. And then again, that occasional fast food, right? But these are some of the things that, again, just a quick, again, some people go look in your cupboard right now. I'm just going to list some of the things I've had to avoid that you're going to have to avoid if you want to partake in this ketogenic lifestyle type diet, right? Sugary food, soda, fruit juice, ice cream, candy, your breads, your pastas, your cereals. Again, a lot of your fruits are, very high in carbs, right? Again, you can still have like berries, blackberries, strawberries, but you have to do it in moderation. Again, like with everything is in moderation. So you have to do that in moderation. Beans, there are potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, any fast food, get that out of there. Fried foods, get that out of there. A lot of your condiments, you're just no good. Some of your unhealthy issues, fats like vegetable oils, corn oil, canola oil, mayonnaise, ketchup, all of these things here that are high in carbs are high in sugar is a big thing. Of course, I'm not a big alcohol person anyway, so alcohol is one that had to get out of there in that case as well too, right? So there's a lot of different things that, again, I don't suggest, again, like we always do, right? Always, follow a professional, right? I give you advice here, right? But you know the terminology, right? The legalese, right? Like, again, don't follow me, act like I'm not a physician, and always follow up with some professional that can follow you along in that process, right? But again, these are a lot of things that you have to kind of remove out of your diet, right? If you really want to partake in this type of lifestyle, right? So again, this isn't an easy process. This is an easy transition. It's probably the reason why it took me so long to kind of make that transition. Again, I really had to kind of be forced into doing so, right? Because again, I love my rice, y'all. I love rice. I can't, it hurts me. It hurts me when I can't have rice. It hurts me when I can't have bread. But because I understand the long-term goal of where I want to go with this, that's kind of the direction I'm willing to take, right? So what are some things, Barry, that you can eat, right? And again, a lot of the stuff I was already eating in the first place, right? Meats, of course, red meat, your steak, your bacon, your ham, those turkey, chicken, that's still on the horizon. I used to always tell my diabetic patients, right, what gets them in trouble, right? Again, they could have a plate, a 12-ounce, New York strip, right? And that's not the problem when it comes to their diabetic, right? It's that roll on the side. It's that mashed potatoes on the side. That's what causes your sugar to raise, right? Again, your steak could be as big as your plate, and that's not causing your sugar levels to shoot up. But that roll and that mashed potatoes that you have on the side is really, really the problem. Fish is definitely so. What are the foods that are good to eat that we can't eat on the ketogenic diet? Again, I hate to say diet, but whatever. Meats, we talked about fish, eggs, butter, cream, cheese. There's some nuts, especially almond walnuts that are available. Healthy oils. Again, there's a virgin oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, avocados. There's some, I love avocados anyway, so that was definitely a good thing. Most of your veggies are going to be in line. And then a lot of your condiments, again, I know you can't have like ketchup and stuff because it's high in sugar, but there's a lot of sugar-free related stuff that you can have, salt, peppers, all that stuff is still on brand to have, right? So again, there's a lot of foods. Yes, there's a lot of foods that I can't eat, but there's still a lot of great foods that I can eat, right? So it's not something that like, oh, woe is me. Like, how is Barry going to survive because he can't eat his regular food? Like, that's definitely not the case here, right? There's a lot of great nutritional support. But I think the most important thing, especially for, a person in my case, a person who decides, this may be a lifestyle that, I want to think about, right? Like, again, there's pros and cons with it. And understanding, what good can happen, what bad can happen is always something to always think about, right? Understanding longevity, right? And again, this is where we're going to get on the soapbox aspect of this show, right? Understanding that when you're making a lifestyle, whether it be you're going to exercise more, whether it be you're going to change your nutrition, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different types of lifestyle changes. Like I said, over the next few weeks, you're going to hear some various, aspects of nutrition. Again, because I want you guys to get a full picture of how people are doing it differently, right? Again, this isn't the only way to help lose weight. This is just one of the ways to help lose weight. Because again, at the end of the day, the equation is simple. If you take in less calories, right, if you burn off less calories that you take in, you're going to lose weight. That's just the simple mathematics of it all. The question is, how do you go about doing that, right? That's really the most important thing. Again, you could be on this ketogenic lifestyle, but if you're eating, 3,000 calories of stuff, right, but you're not really burning off that many calories, right, you're going to have some problems, right? That's not a good aspect, right? It's all about, making sure your nutrition is adequate and really adequate for you. Right. Make sure that you can be in 3 months and 6 months in a year, still be doing that same process. Right. Because that's where, again, Dr. Brad talked about it. Right. 8 months later. Right. You want to be 8 months later still being able to say, yes, I'm still on that type of lifestyle. And I've had people who, again, there's various different ways to do the ketogenic lifestyle. Some people do it where they do it for 5 days out the week, and in 2 days they kind of quote unquote recharge their battery as far as the carbs are concerned. You could do it that way. But again, like we've talked about, especially with Dr. Bowley, right? We talked about these cheat day, right? Don't cheat yourself, right? Like, again, you can treat yourself, but don't cheat yourself. Don't think that, you can like be very good Monday through Friday and just go crazy Saturday and Sunday, and then it all kind of starts over again. Right? We don't want that. That is not a healthy way of doing things. And again, like I said, I can only imagine again, I've been doing it for probably at this time I'm recording about almost 3 weeks now, right? And I'm definitely noticed a difference, right? I definitely noticed I'm not as hungry anymore. I definitely noticed some changes that I think are a positive benefit of mine, right? So I know it works, right? So again, which was never the problem. Right. It was never an issue of, does this thing work? Right. The question was, is Barry Pierre in the mental mindset? Right. Again, remember we talked all last month. We talked about getting in the mindset ready and getting our goals. Right. Was Barry in the mindset to do this? Right. And I can tell you a few months ago, I was not. But over time, and, I kept saying it out loud to the point I didn't want to call myself a liar. Right. And I finally did it. And that's why I'm definitely happy. Like I said, I'm definitely excited to see over the next few months, especially once I get back to working out again, what type of positive benefits we're going to see here. Because again, it is a transition. Like I said, every time I go in my kitchen, I almost have to close my eyes because I see all of these things that I used to be able to eat that I don't eat no more. Right. All of these things that I used to be able to enjoy that I just don't enjoy anymore. I can't enjoy anymore. And that's really where a transition occurs, right? Once you mentally make the decision, I want to make this leap in this direction, right? You just got to do it. Right. And there's a lot of support groups. Like I said, there's a lot of different aspects, especially for those who may be interested in the ketogenic lifestyle. Right. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different supplements. And, again, if you have any questions, concerns, or you want to, make the leap, make sure, you drop a note in the comments. Make sure you go on the website. Make sure you kind of follow along. Because again, I'm on my socials everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on at Dr. Barry P at all of them. So, follow me, drop me a message if you have any questions or concerns along with that process. If you are in my Facebook group as well, that's another place that you can, ask your questions as well, especially if you have any questions regarding at least the ketogenic lifestyle and what the process is going through at this moment here. Like I said, I'm hoping, again, I'll just I'll say it say the prayer out loud and maybe it's my answer. I'm hoping to get, one of a foremost, maybe a ketogenic expert on this. Everyone, who when you're an expert, right, it just means that you've done it longer than everyone else, or you just read up on it. So I'm hoping to get an expert on ketogenic lifestyle, or maybe a dietitian on here to kind of talk to us about that aspect as well, too, just so you can kind of get a little bit more of a formal approach. But I really wanted to give you a personal aspect to kind of start the month off, because again, that's one that seems to translate well with you guys, right? You guys like to hear the personal stories, right? Which makes sense, right? You want to make sure that the person who, is up here expounding, knowledge, actually has, some sense, isn't like a robot, doesn't follow their directions, right? So again, love everyone for their support of the podcast. You guys have been absolutely amazing over this past year. Again, continue to listen, continue to share and subscribe, and, leave your ratings. I love those ratings. Like I said, I love when you guys, kind of show, that I'm actually doing a good job, because sometimes you never know when you're up here talking to a microphone by yourself, right? So you guys have a great and blessed week. Like I said, I'm excited for the next month or so as far as some of our podcast guests, and I think you guys will be excited as well. Have a great and blessed week, and see you next week, guys. Thank you for getting to the end of the show. I am your host, Dr. Barry Pierre, host of the Lunch Learn with Dr. Barry, and this is another amazing episode that we like to bring to you week after week on betterment of empowering yourself for better health today. If you have not had a chance, please go ahead and subscribe to the show if this is your first time listening. If you already listen and you've already subscribed, make sure to leave me a 5-star review, because your support is absolutely important in keeping the show moving as it is. And if you have not had a chance and you want to check out today's show notes, always head over to lunchlearnpod.com. That is lunchlearnpod, all in one word.com, and you can get the access to my show notes for every single episode, but especially the one you just listened to. And I'm going to see you guys next week. You guys be blessed. Bye.